Hello, friends. You've somehow stumbled into the underside of the internet, the dark side of the internet, the unexplorable side of the internet. No, you're actually tuned to the Vegematic Show, and congratulations, because you're probably on the same watch list as me. Welcome to another Vegematic Show, an informed, if somewhat sarcastic view of the world around us. Welcome one and all, except you. Anyway, what's been going on? Oh, all kinds of nasty stuff been going on. This is from The Real News by Steve Horn, and the U.S. Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources has hired a former fracking lobbyist to lead its minority staff. So this is the Democrats we're talking about. As first reported by the publication Greenwire, Sara Venuto Perez formerly served as lead federal lobbyist for America's Natural Gas Alliance, as well as the natural gas electricity companies CenterPoint Energy and Entergianga, until merging into the American Petroleum Institute in 2015, was a lead federal lobbying organization promoting hydraulic fracking for natural gas in shale basins across the U.S. And let's see who's involved with this. Let's see. Oh, here we go. The U.S. Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources is under the Democratic minority leadership of U.S. Senator, guess who? Joe Manchin, a coal and natural gas state legislator who has long served as a vocal supporter of the fossil fuel industry. I bet he does. You know what I mean? Most recently, Venuto Perez had worked as chief legal counsel and senior policy advisor for Manchin. A contradiction is unfolding among Democrats. Venuto Perez's hire comes as Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives, spearheaded by U.S. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, has pushed the concept of a Green New Deal. Imagine that, how frightening for the oligarchs, and the creation of a select committee on the climate crisis. Unlike Sarah Sanders, who just wants to leave it up to God. God gave you a brain, Sarah. Unfortunately, you're using it for all the wrong purposes. Ocasio-Cortez recently told Bloomberg that the House will soon begin the official process of drafting a resolution to have an official written record of what climate and clean energy policies they would support to combat climate change. Prior to roughly 7 years working as lobbyist in Washington, D.C., Venuto Perez worked as assistant counsel for the Office for General Counsel for the Hillary Clinton for President campaign during Clinton's first run at the presidency, according to her LinkedIn profile. Venuto Perez also gave a $2,900 donation to Clinton in 2016, and yada, yada, yada. So there you go. Two sides of the same ugly climate, different paths of denial, the climate change thing. But hopefully Alexandria will kick some ass there in Washington, D.C., and hopefully start to at least change the dialogue a little bit. And then there's Venezuela. Oh my God, Venezuela. And nothing's off the table, right? What are they going to say now? Let's say Maduro has weapons of mass destruction. They got lots of oil. Yeah, do you think if Venezuela's chief export was cucumbers instead of oil, that we would be concerned about it? Even Canada is now supporting the unelected guy that said I'm president. So I think I should be Prime Minister of Canada. I say so. There, I'm appointing myself Prime Minister of Canada. There, I mean, it's the same thing, right? If I'm not mistaken, we want to impose some democracy on them. The democracy that doesn't come from the ballot box, but at the point of a gun. And that's the Western oligarchical way of sending in the jackals to deal with the Venezuela problem. You bankrupt the economy first, and then after you bankrupt the economy, well, you move in, you send in the jackals, as our friend Mr. Perkins has reminded us. I hear he has a new book out right now, which is I forget what it's called now. It's not Send in the Jackals, but it might as well be, because they're sending jackals all over the place. So don't be surprised if there's some intervention in Venezuela. Not that America would ever be one to interfere in anybody's elections. God knows that they want to spread democracy to all the oil-filled poor nations that have the temerity to not use the U.S. petrodollar anymore. Oh, Libya did that, didn't they? Uh-oh, they're just added to the list. So we don't know what's going to happen down there, a civil war, and you don't know who to believe and which side to believe, but I tend to go with the elected officials somehow. I don't know. If this guy wants to say he's president, well, then run for office, but he did want to, so, yeah, fuck him. Anyway, the capitalists love him. The people meeting over at Davos love him. The Davos people they're plotting the continued annihilation of the planet we live in. What, me? Taxed at 70%? You must be joking. Yeah, this horrible woman, Alexandria, had to, just kind of say that over 10 million, maybe you should pay 70%. Not unusual at all, not radical, only radical from the point of view of the oligarchs, because you need an extra island or two, like 10 million, it doesn't buy anything these days, right? You can't even buy a good building for 10 million, so I mean, taxes? Only little people pay taxes, remember? According to an MSNBC poll, President Lump's job approval is down 8 points since December, down to 34%. And disapproval up 9% to 65, so 33 and a third people in America approve of Herr Drumpf's madness. So you really need to get universal health care so that these mentally ill people can be treated. Perhaps get some deprogrammers and paid for by billionaires' tax dollars or something, because they're going to need a lot of deprogrammers after the Trump cult collapses in chaos and disarray and violence. Or perhaps he'll take it further and destroy your country even more. It's anybody's guess at this point. I wouldn't depend on Mueller. After all, he's a Republican, and remember, all Republicans are scum. When they finally write the history of the decline and fall of the American empire, featured prominently will be Turtle McConnell and, of course, Herr Drumpf. Well, that's your happily hopeless news for now. So until next time, this is Vegematic reminding you to stay hopeless, but be happy. And fight. You might as well, you got nothing else to do.